The suburban politician who calls herself super mayor not giving up in her battle to be on the ballot for next year's election for Thornton Township Supervisor. Today, Tiffany Henyard and her supporters held a fiery call to action meeting.
I keep telling her, fucking on my name.
Tiffany Henyard and her supporters.
This young lady deserves that seat. She's done a good job.
Speaking out about what they call unfair practices at this week's Democratic Caucus for Thornton Township Supervisor. Henyard was denied a place in the township ballot for re-election because she didn't have a certified assessor on her ticket. That's what we were told by an attorney. State Senator Napoleon Harris getting the Democratic nomination instead.
On December 3rd, 2024, your right to vote was hijacked by your committeeman, Senator Napoleon Harris, that organization, those trustees, and the attorneys who allowed this illegal act to take place.
Some of Henyard's claims: unfair caucus rules, voter suppression, venue manipulation, and election rigging.
We have footage, we have proof, everything we're saying covered.
Good evening. I'm Chappelle Shirai, and welcome to tonight's top story. In Thornton Township, the drama surrounding political power has reached a boiling point. Tiffany Henyard, currently serving as both the township supervisor and the mayor of Dalton, has been knocked off the Democratic ballot in a controversial caucus earlier this week. Her supporters, however, claim the process was rigged, setting the stage for what could become a fierce legal battle. Henyard, far from conceding defeat, insists she will be on the April ballot for re-election, fighting to protect what she views as a stolen opportunity. In an exclusive report, NBC5's Regina Waldrop dives deeper into the unfolding story and reveals what happens next for the embattled leader. Let's get right into it.
To sit back and be silent against the injustice.
Henyard also claims hundreds of her supporters left out in the cold, unable to get in the building where the caucus was held.
In the cold, having 2 people coming at a time. We had a long line wrapped around the block, and again around the block, and they never had a seat. Hundreds of people on buses, people in wheelchairs, people older. We were out there screaming. They must be scared of Tiffany because they won't even allow her to get on the ballot.
Henyard's boyfriend, Paul Woods, also attacked the media and reporting by NBC5.
Go to heart. This is worth talking. I see you. You were the dead act. I see you. You part of the problem. You gonna tell the truth? Tell the truth. It ain't no guys. You part of the problem.
A spokesperson for Senator Harris told NBC5 in a statement, in part, it's unfortunate that the supervisor's team has chosen to spread false narratives. The focus should remain on addressing the critical issues that truly matter.
We cannot let this go. I am suing Napoleon Harris. I am suing the caucus.
Tiffany Henyard, who is also serving as the mayor of Dalton, says her lawyer will be.
This week's Democratic caucus in Thornton Township was supposed to be an ordinary step in the election process, an opportunity for party officials and residents to pick their candidate for the upcoming race. What followed, however, became anything but ordinary. Tiffany Henyard's re-election bid for township supervisor was suddenly brought to a screeching halt when State Senator Napoleon Harris claimed the Democratic nomination for the position. The news stunned Henyard and her loyal supporters, but Henyard wasn't going to quietly accept what she called an unfair and illegal election process. In fact, she claims the outcome of the caucus was manipulated to benefit Harris while undermining the democratic process. For Henyard, the loss wasn't just a political defeat. It was a total betrayal of the voters she represents. The caucus event was supposed to be a fair process, but Henyard quickly expressed her frustration. We had people waiting outside, desperate to have their voices heard, but they wouldn't let them in. They just let one person inside. It wasn't democracy. It was a hostile takeover.
Following a lawsuit. Still ahead, also developing now, some of her political power is on the line.
But Tiffany Henyard maintains she will be on the April ballot in Thornton Township for re-election for one of the 2 positions she holds. Provider Thornton Township is one of the largest in the states. Regina Waldrop details Henyard's latest calls for help and what happened next?
It was a crushing blow to the woman who calls herself Super Mayor. Tuesday night, Tiffany Henyard lost her bid for re-election for Thornton Township Supervisor after she was blocked from the ballot. But State Senator Napoleon Harris gave the Democratic nomination for the re-election. Henyard also serves as the adult. Friday morning, she attended a township electoral meeting. The board could decide which candidates could be knocked off the ballot. Two of Henyard's supporters have filed objections challenging candidates running for supervisor and other positions.
Mr. Napoleon Harris is not a duly qualified resident in Thornton Township.
A spokesman for Senator Harris in a statement told NBC5 in part, "It's unfortunate that the appointed supervisor's team has chosen to spread false narratives. The focus should remain on addressing the critical issues that truly matter to the community." Meanwhile, in a letter addressed to township residents, Henyard calls on them to help fight against what she says is corruption.
Henyard's allies also weighed in, raising serious concerns about the conduct of the caucus. According to them, many of her supporters were kept outside the event, effectively silencing the very community Henyard had worked so hard to represent. The situation turned more heated when Henyard's camp raised accusations that some people allowed into the caucus weren't even from the area. The doubts over the legitimacy of the vote only intensified. People who were supposed to represent Thornton Township, people who live and work here, were left outside while others were allowed to vote. It was completely unfair, one Henyard supporter stated. Tiffany Henyard didn't shy away from sharing her anger about the situation, leaving the room immediately after hearing the results. "The people's voice was taken away from them today," she proclaimed as she stormed out of the building. Her frustration was palpable, and she made it clear that she would not accept a stolen election. But it wasn't just about losing the caucus. It was about defending what she calls a free and fair chance for the people of Thornton Township.
She says she's planning to take legal action.
The people will put me on the ballot.
Also happening Friday, an update on the township's status. Henyard says it's in crisis with essential services and renewal of the insurance policy at stake. She's accused two trustees who've not been attending meetings of purposefully gridlocking the township's government.
I pray that they show up for me because right now we don't have insurance. So I hope it don't take that long to have a meeting. I will continue to call special board meetings so that we can clear up our issues.
Next week, Henyard says she will call another special meeting. And as the year winds down, Thornton Township is still without a budget. Regina Walton, NBC5 News.
Thanks to Regina. Tiffany Henyard and her supporters are claiming a Democratic caucus this week in Thornton Township was rigged.
That caucus ended with Henyard, the incumbent, being thrown off the ballot for Thornton Township Supervisor. The story is new at 6. Here's NBC5's Regina Walton.
With the special board of trustees meeting here canceled, Tiffany Henyard uses some of the time to talk about Tuesday night's caucus and share what she says was her side of the story. The woman who calls herself Super Mayor, not backing down.
We will be in court for a legal battle.
Tiffany Henyard lost her bid for re-election.
While Harris's camp defended the process as legitimate, claiming that everything had been conducted according to protocol, Henyard and her supporters adamantly disagree. They've called for a full investigation into the allegations of voter suppression and misconduct during the caucus. Tiffany Henyard took to social media soon after, announcing that legal action would be taken. "I'm not going anywhere. This isn't over. We're going to court and we're fighting to make sure the voters of Thornton Township have their voices heard," Henyard vowed. But her troubles didn't stop at being removed from the ballot. According to her, there are more pressing issues at stake for the township's future.
On Tuesday night during a Democratic caucus, with State Senator Napoleon Harris getting the nomination for Thornton Township Supervisor, Henyard also served as mayor of Belton. She says the process not fair.
He did not acknowledge anyone or anybody's demand. I was the only one that stood up for him.
There were people on the inside that was from Thornton Township. There were people, there was children on the inside yelling and voting.
Henyard also says many of her supporters kept out of the building.
I asked them to see what was inside the building. They said no, they are part. If they are present, let them in. They said no.
An attorney told us Henyard didn't have a certified assessor on her ticket, deeming her invalid for consideration.
That's not true. How would anybody know that if you didn't have to make my nomination?
In a statement, a spokesman for Senator Harris told us in part claims made by Supervisor Tiffany Henyard and her campaign representative are categorically false. The caucus proceedings were conducted in accordance with established protocols. Meanwhile, Tiffany Henyard says she will be on the April ballot.
Everybody has been calling us and they're going to stand with us. I appreciate that. Even the naysayers that they're going to stand with us. People like right. They don't like this wrong way of dictatorship for government.
Amidst the political chaos, Henyard claims Thornton Township is in crisis. We don't even have basic insurance coverage right now. And that's just one of the issues we are dealing with, Henyard said on Friday. The absence of insurance is more than just a bureaucratic nightmare. It poses a direct risk to the township's services. Henyard called on residents and trustees alike to show up to upcoming board meetings and vote to renew the critical insurance policy, adding that failure to act would have devastating consequences for the community. 2 trustees have been absent from recent meetings, and Henyard alleges that their non-participation is part of a broader effort to gridlock township business. She accused these trustees of purposely stalling and undermining the township's functioning for political gain. In an impassioned appeal to those in power, she said, "If they don't show up, we're going to lose essential services that the residents rely on. We can't afford to wait much longer."
And happening here tomorrow, a meeting for people challenging nominating petitions for people running for trustee and also township supervisor. Reporting from South Holland, I'm Regina Walter, NBC5 News.
Tonight, a ballot battle happening in Thornton Township, where opponents are trying to knock Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard off the ballot for the April election.
Henyard is also the mayor of Dalton, but her path to keep her second job just got more difficult. NBC5's Regina Walter was at the meeting in Homewood and tells us why Henyard won't be on the Democratic ticket for her supervisor re-election.
7 minutes. That's all it took for Tiffany Henyard to be out as the Democratic nominee for Thornton Township Supervisor, and she left here visibly upset. A crushing blow for Tiffany Henyard. Hundreds of people waited outside and dozens more inside an auditorium in Homewood as the results were announced. Illinois State Senator Napoleon Harris will be the Democratic nominee for Thornton Township Supervisor in the April election.
Despite the hurdles, Henyard plans to call another special board meeting to discuss and resolve the township's issues. She expressed urgency, saying, "I'm committed to continuing these meetings until we clear up our problems. If we have to hold them every week, I will." Henyard's supporters are standing firmly behind her, expressing their belief that the township needs her leadership now more than ever. Even those who have been skeptical about her role are showing renewed support. As the crisis facing Thornton Township worsens, and the only way to get her to leave her job as supervisor just got a lot more difficult, she remains resolute. She's promised to continue her legal fight and says she is determined to challenge her removal from the ballot. "You can try to stop me, but the people want what's right," she declared. As the political battle moves from the caucus floor to the courtroom, all eyes will be on Thornton Township in the weeks leading up to the April elections. With Henyard threatening to seek a write-in campaign if necessary, the landscape of the race could change dramatically.
Henyard was in the room as the announcement came in. She called the vote unfair and illegal before leaving.
One thing to win, but let's do it properly and let the people really have a voice. The people's voice was taken.
Henyard's allies also raised questions about why so many people were not let into the building. They say she may seek to be a write-in candidate.
They wouldn't let none of the people in. This is absurd and something needs to be done about it. This is criminal. The process was followed and came up with it.
Richard Nolan is the Republican nominee for supervisor. Other positions that will be in the April ballot: township clerk, township assessor, highway commissioner, and 4 trustees. And again, Tiffany Henyard's camp saying what happened here not fair, and they say their next step, legal action. Reporting from Homewood, I'm Regina Walter, NBC5 News.
Regina, thank you.
"This isn't just about me," Henyard said in one of her recent social media posts. "This is about standing up to corruption and giving power back to the people." Whether or not she succeeds in remaining on the ballot remains to be seen, But what's clear is that her fight is far from over. As we watch this legal and political battle unfold, there's no question that the stakes are high for Tiffany Henyard and the future of Thornton Township. Will she remain on the ballot for the upcoming election? Or will the powerful political machine behind State Senator Napoleon Harris push her out? Only time will tell. Stay tuned as we continue to track this developing story and provide you with the latest updates on Tiffany Henyard's fight for political survival. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tiffany Henyard, and we'll see you next time with more on this tense and ongoing story.